Clara. I think there's no doubt that we all want to solve this crisis. There's no doubt about it. And Labour, I suppose, we've a good, strong track record of housing. I mean, the housing department while in government, and we've put forward proposals that weren't always supported. But I know that we have put forward proposals that were supported. So we definitely don't want to disagree with this. We see that there is, of course, there's room for a rental market, but we have put in 69 amendments, and I just can't understand, Minister, why none of them were taken up on. So we have we have a track record, we have the history. We've been calling for a state construction company. I know other people now have come along with it, but since 2024, we're not trying to be awkward, and I think that's what's coming back to that. What I genuinely believe, and we in a party believe, is that the market is not going to solve the housing crisis, and it's not. I think that this residential tenancy bill, I think it's trying to appease institutional landlords. And we can see this right across the board. I mean, a 3-year rent freeze is nothing to be looking for. A 3-year rent freeze, for the general smaller landlord, a 3-year rent freeze is not the end of the world. Having a no-fault eviction is not going to be the end of the world. Stopping evicting children into homelessness, they're all very reasonable things that you could work with a small landlord with. It's the big institutional landlords are the ones that I think that is influencing this bill. I think that's wrong. And I think he, as a government, should listen to the opposition. I think he realise that we all live in the same constituencies. Like I will say in Sligo, where I live, that the average rent has gone up it's actually gone up 90% since COVID. So the average rent of a house in Sligo is €1,400. That's crazy. In Leitrim, it's 1,300. It's actually gone up 98% since COVID. So, if we want to have an all-body or full-body approach to this, a full governmental approach to this, which I thought we would, and I suppose that's one way we can look at solving the housing crisis. You would have been able to support bringing in the minimum wage for apprentices that we had in here before the Senate. We know we have a shortage of apprentices, and we know that there's so many of them leaving in the first year, and low pay is cited as one of those main reasons. That's one reason that I cannot understand why that wasn't taken into account. Instead of trying to appease smaller landlords and look at, trying to, I suppose, vulture funds. That's what we're actually talking about here, is vulture funds. And I think this is what this bill is actually what it's reflecting, is the influence it's the neoliberal influence that unfortunately this government is paying homage to. I think another one would be, my own party colleagues today have brought in the right to flexible work, the right to remote working. The right, if you can do your job from home, if you're able to do your job from home, you should be entitled to do your job from home. Again, this would relieve the housing crisis. We can see, I get the train up and down to Sligo. We can see the homeless crisis is it's so hard, and it took me a long time to get my head around it. To seeing so many people homeless, seeing children homeless. So, I think, and I suppose another area that I would argue as well, and I've been saying this as a workers' rights force, as a spokesperson for workers' rights within the party, is there's so many low-paid workers are stuck in the middle between they can't afford rent. In my opinion, the HAP rates are too low, and I know I shouldn't be saying that. I know, because I don't want to be giving money to private landlords, but the HAP rates are not. They need to be increased until the supply of housing is actually there. The HAP rates are too low, so people are they're being notices to quit, and they have nowhere to go. The HAP rates, in my opinion, the HAP rates too, and I think the rates between social housing, the thresholds for social housing is too low. To be eligible for a social house in Sligo, you have to be earning 30,000. That's it. They should be higher. They haven't been reviewed for years, and they should be higher until there's more housing come on stream. But then if we look at why about building houses, why aren't there more affordable houses being built, affordable rent and affordable buy? And that's what I would argue, that this bill is actually to the appeasement of institutional landlords. Low pay is an area that we have spoken about, and I know other people have spoken about here, about pensions. To address, there is people coming to we all know every day we're getting somebody. The main thing all of us get, I suppose, as politicians, is about housing. But there's pensioners as well, like Senator Andrews coming. I've got pensioners coming to me that are 60, 65, and they've got notices to quit. They've nowhere to go. They have where are they going to go? I suppose there's students that has come up loads of times again. There's a lack of available purpose-built student accommodation. But until it's actually built, and there is being strides made to build it, why can't accommodation be put into that in the meantime, so that students are not going to be affected by this? I think, Minister, I'm just disappointed that you're not listening to the amendments. There's a lot of very, very well qualified people in the opposition benches with the experience, with the knowledge. that that are very worthy to have that they should be getting their amendments listened to. But instead, it's been rammed through. Like, this is going to be pushed through. We could see we spent hours deliberating over the mental health bill, on the defamation bill, which is rightly so. That's what our job is. We're here to talk through legislation, to work out legislation, and not for it to be rammed through. And I would hope that you will reconsider this idea that you're going to bulldoze this through just because you don't want to listen to very sensible, from all the opposition benches, very sensible amendments. Margaret.